Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is going to be a kind of first impressions and swatches of the Tarte Tarteist Pro palette. I got this one for Christmas and I've literally been restraining myself by not opening or touching or playing with this at all. It's all fresh in the box. I haven't even had a look at this, so we just open it up and oh, it's like looks really nice. So it's got a kind of matte black. Oh, I'm already getting fingerprints on it. No! It did come with a little leaflet. So, where's the English side? This is the English side. So all these different looks that you can create using the palette. Super cute, and definitely gives you some ideas if you are kind of running low on the inspiration juices. So yeah, that's really cool. And back to the palette, so it's just got a little closure here, so we just open it up. So guys, I just have to put an awkward pause in here. At the time of filming, I had such a blocked nose that I couldn't even smell the palette. But this palette smells like chocolate! It pretty much smells exactly the same as the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. If you had them side by side, I don't think I could tell the difference really. So just so you know, it does have a scent. I don't know if people are into that or not, but I personally love it. And then this is what the shades look like. Wow, this looks so pretty. I love the kind of gold that they've used on it. It looks so luxurious and pretty. So this is what the shades are comprised of. We've got 4, 8, 12, 16 mattes and then 4 kind of shimmery shades. Now I know these ones have been described as a duochrome, so that's really nice and cool. I don't really own any duochrome eyeshadows in my collection, so I'm really excited to test these ones out. And then of course you've got all the mattes. Now these, see how they're like separated into rows, so kind of 4 rows. The basis is that you can use every shadow here to create a look. So that's one look, so you basically get 4 looks. Obviously you can mix and match these around. There's no rules with makeup, so whatever floats your boat. But if you are in a rush and just want a really easy palette which kind of spells it out for you, this is a really cool way to set out a palette. So yeah, they all look really nice. So I'm going to do some swatches of these ones and then we will do, I'll do just a simple look on my eyes so you can kind of see the shadows in action. So let's just move on to the swatches. So I'm starting off with all the mattes. This is the top row reading left to right. We have Classic, Innocent, Whimsy and Smoked. For the second row we have Vintage, Fierce, No Filter and Vamp. Moving on to the third row we have Chic, Profesh, Mod and Drama. And then for the last row of the mattes we have Indie, Bold, Edgy and Punk. And then lastly in the palette we have the duochrome, so reading from the top of the palette to the bottom we have Ethereal, Glam, Minx and Trendy. Okay, so those were the swatches, and from the swatches I can tell that there are a few standouts and a few not so standouts. The black here, Punk, was really chalky. There wasn't much pigment payoff if you're after a true deep black. But I mean the duochrome, the shimmers were amazing. Those were so good. The pigmentation on those from one little swipe was fantastic. I mean there's duochrome in them, but I don't think they're like literally, besides the Trendy, which is the kind of blue brown one, which, you know, there are a lot of companies which do similar pigments and colorings and things like that. I don't think that they are a true duochrome. They're a little bit, but I mean they're not like literally you move your arm as one color, move your arm it's another color kind of thing. It's very subtle, but the shades themselves are so pretty and they feel so nice and smooth, and the swatches you can tell they're just super creamy and buttery. So I know I'm a little bit they do. When I was doing the swatches there was a lot of powder kickback just from the swatches, and a few of them did feel a little bit chalky, so I don't know, but not unlike the Tartelette palette. Some of those ones to the touch do feel a little bit chalky, so let's give it a try. I'm just going to do one of the kind of suggested looks from the rows and kind of put a look together. Nothing too crazy. I just want to have a base idea of how the shadows blend out for kind of first impression on the palette itself. So I think I'm going to do this more neutrally coloured, the more neutral one here, so just that top one. So I really want to use that shade there because it looked so beautiful. I'm going to take the first shade, which is going to be Innocent, and I'm going to run that through my crease as my kind of initial transition shade. I'm going to be taking it on a Morphe M44 brush, just a nice fluffy brush to kind of place that initial shade down. Oh, what if you see that's heaps of kickback. I mean, that was me just dabbing my brush in there. The amount of fallout that's just in kickback that's happened in the pan. Just so you know, I mean, there are shadows which do kick back a look. I mean, Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, that one kicks back so much. So yeah, I mean, I love that palette, and the pigmentation on that palette is phenomenal. So yeah, let's just go in with the shadows. I'm going to kick off any excess. So I'm just going to run this through my crease. Oh, it's pigmented. It's definitely pigmented. I really like this as like an initial transition shade. It's really nice and warm. Blends out really well. Yeah, I like this shade. It's just a really soft once you do blend it out. It's really soft. I'm going to grab a little bit more and just focus it a little bit closer into the crease there. So that blended out really nicely there. So far so good. I really like how this shadow blends out. It's a really nice kind of natural transition shade, really nice warm shade. So that was Innocent. I'm liking that colour, looks good. Next I'm going to take Whimsy, which is just that more reddy kind of toned shade. I'm going to focus this one a little bit more into the crease. Innocent, I blended out a little bit to the brow bone to kind of give it an overall wash of colour. This one I'm going to focus a little bit more into the crease. So I'm just going to take Whimsy on a Morphe 433 brush, and I'm just going to grab a little bit. Again, there's like that same amount of kickback that we had with Innocent, and then I'm just going to focus this one right into the kind of crease. Whoa, that's really pigmented. Holy. Oh, I love that colour. So I'm just going to be really light-handed because it was really pigmented, and just blend that out. And look how seamlessly that kind of blended out. That was really easy to blend out. Okay. I'm going to blend this probably a little bit higher than I thought I was going to, just because there seems to be a lot of on the brush. So that was Whimsy, and again, that has blended out so beautifully. Super easy to blend out. It's very pigmented, so you literally just need like a dab into that, and that blends out really nicely. Next, I'm going to move on to Smoked, and I'm just going to focus that one into my kind of outer kind of corners to kind of deepen the look up a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to go under the line yet. I'm kind of liking how light this is looking with nothing under the eye, but we'll see how we go. I'm just going to take that Smoked colour on a Sigma E30 pencil brush, just kind of pack onto the outer corner, and then I'll probably blend it out with that same brush that we used Whimsy with. So again, just the tiniest. I'm just literally like dotting my brush into this because I do not want this to be super pigmented or super like harsh and dramatic. So yeah, I'm just going to focus this just on my kind of outer V, and again super pigmented, so just the tiniest little bit on this brush. So my camera just died, overheated, because it's so dang hot in here at the moment. But basically all I did was use that pencil brush to blend Smoked just into the kind of outer V to deepen it up a little bit. I did find this skipped a little bit. You do have to kind of work at it a little bit because it did go a little bit patchy, and I did lose a little bit of depth. So I'm just going to add a little bit more just along the lash line there and the outer half of the eye there. Just to deepen up a little bit more. I'm just going to blend that up. Let's do that on the other side as well, just right along that lash line at the base, just on that outer, with that same pencil brush, and just kind of feather it up. Next I'm going to take Ethereal, and I'm going to apply that on my lids. I'm probably just going to use my finger to apply this. I haven't got any kind of, I've like primed my eyes using just a little bit of concealer and some powder to kind of prime them, but I haven't got any kind of tacky base or anything like this. I just want to kind of see how it goes straight with just using a finger to apply the shadow. So I'm going to apply this just in the center and then bring it into the kind of inner corners as well. Oh, this color is just like so pretty. Anyway, let's see how it performs. So just on okay, so definitely, unfortunately it doesn't translate as well onto the lid. Oh, there we go. Another layer it does. That is so pretty. Now you do have to go back into this, but it might work better if you've got a bit more of a tackier base for sure, which, you know, isn't unusual for even the most pigmented of pigmented shadows. Now I do just want to have a play around and I want to see if I can get that a little bit more foiled. It is looking really nice on the lid, nice and sparkly and shiny, but I definitely want to see if I can get a little bit more of a foiled look. So I'm just going to take my Sigma E55 shading brush and I'm just going to dip that into Ethereal again, pick up a good amount of it on the brush, and then I'm just going to spray my brush with a bit of Matte Fix Plus, and then I'm going to apply that onto the lid to see if I can get a little bit more of a foiled appearance. Yeah, that's definitely brought out a little bit more shine. Looking so pretty. That shade is to die for, especially if you have blue eyes. The shade is like makes your eyes pop. Perfect. So definitely the foiling with a bit of Matte Fix Plus definitely does bring this look in. Now I do think I need to go a little bit under the lash line now that I've done everything, just to kind of tie it all in. I think it looks a little bit blank on the lower lash line. I'm just going to take a little bit of Innocent and I'm going to run that along the lower lash line as close to the lash line, like quite close to the lash line. So it's going to look down and run it along the lash line. And I'm going to just dust off a little bit of the black, or dust off a little bit of the smoked that was on that Sigma pencil brush, just on my arm. And I'm going to use the same brush and I'm going to dip it into Whimsy and focus this again just on the lower lash line, but maybe towards like a little bit more the outer half of the eye. And it's going to take Smoked and I'm just going to stamp that on my outer lower lash line, or just on literally probably the length of the brush, just on that outer lower lash line. And stamp just literally the length of the brush. Then I'm just going to go back in with the pencil brush and kind of just smoke that out a little bit. Then for the highlight, I'm going to take Classic from the palette. Oh, I'm going to take Classic. I'm just going to take that and apply that to the brow bone. Well, that's a really nice brow bone highlight. Definitely just cleans everything up. Very nice. And then just the same for the other side, obviously. It's a bit patchy here. So I am just going to go in with a little bit more Whimsy, just on that same M433. I'm just going to place a little bit more just in that outer corner there, just to really blend out that smoked colour, which it definitely has had some trouble blending. So for liner, because I don't want to close off my eyes, I'm just going to take my Nude Rimmel liner. I'm going to apply that just on the rim. So putting that in the waterline there just opens everything up again. So I'm back. I've applied just some falsies. I've just applied Ardell Demi Wispies and I've got on some MAC Velvet Teddy and I just applied a little bit of highlight, Champagne Pop as per usual. And yeah, this is kind of the finished look. I'm really super happy with how the eyes turned out. They are very glam, but kind of wearable as well. And I'm so impressed with this palette so far. Do bear in mind that I have only used one selection of the colours for one look. The only letdown was that dark smoked shade. It definitely was not super blendable, kind of patchy, but you know, it definitely did deepen the look out and I did like how it turned out nice and smoked, but it's not the most easiest shade to work with. So I'm not sure if the rest of the darker shades did look like do perform like that, but I did notice that when I did the swatches, all the darker shades did look a little bit patchy. So something to keep in mind, but for first impression of this palette, I am super, super impressed. I love those two tanny brown shades. They are phenomenal. There is a lot of kickback with this product or with this palette, so do keep that in mind, but it's not dissimilar to the Anastasia Beverly Hills kickback amount. The shadows are definitely smooth. They are a little bit chalky, so do keep that in mind, and make sure you tap off your brush. So this palette in Australia at Sephora retails for $83, which is expensive. There are 20 shades in this palette, 16 matte, and then those nice duochromed shades, bringing the total to 20 shades all up. So for $83, you're looking about $4-ish per shadow. For 15 Australian dollars per shadow, to be precise. So I mean, when you break it down, it's not terrible. I mean, they're definitely, the mattes in here do not compare to the Makeup Geek single eyeshadows, but in Australia you're looking at about $6 per shadow for those ones, and these ones are smaller. So keep that in mind. They are nice though, and it is a nice palette to have all together. You do have your, you can create your really nice kind of neutral looks in through here. You didn't put the kind of smoky shades in there, you would have some really great everyday shadows. And this palette, I think it would be nice as well, even though it is targeted towards the more makeup professional, as in pro. I do think this is nice for kind of the everyday or beginner as well, because they're all kind of laid out for you, so you know what you're doing and you can create a really nice, simple, beautiful looks using the kind of step-by-step guides. The actual presentation of this palette is beautiful. I love the Luxe Black, although fingerprints already starting on that, so a bit of a downside for that, but just for the overall aesthetic, when you initially look at it, I think it looks really, really professional. I think it's definitely an addition to my collection. I don't think there's anything super crazy out there fantastic about this palette. I just think it's a well put together palette. Shades in here are nothing that you can't get at other brands, but it is nice to have them all together, and you can create your nice simple neutral looks, or if you want to add a little bit of pop of color, you do have that option as well. So in that way, it is a kind of broader ranged palette. You're not just having your neutrals or colors. It's a nice mix of everything in there. So if you're a beginner or not a beginner, I do think this is a worthwhile palette. I do think that you will enjoy it. Just do keep in mind that, some of the shadows you have to work for a little bit. You're not going to get that easy, seamless blending from those darker shadows, but I'm alright with that. I think that the look turned out really well, and I'm really happy with those kind of duochrome metallic shades. I think they're absolutely stunning. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of first impressions review and swatches of the palette. Please give this video a like, thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you guys next week in my next video. Bye!